Hey guys, well this video is just a quick video to show you the changeover into the large new worm farm and the construction of that worm farm. Now what I'll show you is we've been making do, excuse the rubbish on the top, there's been a bit of moving around. We've been making do with this small worm farm here, which is called a worm cafe, which you can buy from most good hardware stores. Yeah, and it's done a pretty good job. You can see there's some lovely worm whiz there, but also we've got these tumblers as well. We've got a couple of these tumblers, and we also have these freestanding compost bins as well. Now what happened, the story goes, the big freezer that we've got, deep freeze, like a coffin freezer, broke down last week, which yeah, caused quite a few headaches because all of our year's supply of onions and carrots and beans and all the stuff in the veggie patch that we have frozen, pretty much we had to relocate. So it was phone a friend, phone anyone I knew and say, look, can you help out? Anyway, that aside, we got that sorted. Next thing I thought, well, what are we going to do with the freezer? Put it out on the rubbish collection on the verge, or pay to take it away to the tip? No, I thought, I think I can make a worm farm out of that, and quite a big one at that. So here it is here. I'll quickly nip around the other side and show you. Excuse me. So yeah, here's the freezer here. I've chocked it open. Now I've got a friend who's a fridgie and he's degassed it for me, and so it's ready to go. I've put this up on blocks. Now you're probably wondering, oh well, why do you need it up on blocks? Unless you've got a worm farm of this size, you'll know, or unless you've got even a smaller one, you need to be able to fit a watering can underneath so you can collect the juice that comes out. So yeah, what I'll do is I've got my trusty drill here with a 25mm hole saw. Yeah, and I'll just drill a hole in here, put a tap fitting, which I've got plenty spare of, off the water tanks in here, and then yeah, that'll give me a nice outlet for the worm whiz. So I'll go do that now. Okay, so you can see here now I have drilled the hole and fitted the tap. Now I ended up having to go the next size up with the hole, because this thread here for the tap was, I think I said it, what was it, 25mm? Or was it 35? Oh, I can't remember. But I had to go the next size up because then I had to extend it because this wouldn't fit right the way through the width of the fridge. So I had to put an extension on, which of course this is the next size up. If that makes sense, hopefully it does. These pots here are just holding this steady while this dries out. Now I'll show you in the other side. I'll just zoom in. All I did there was I've put a bit of shade cloth over it so that it catches all the muck and bits and pieces, and then it's just got a lacky band at the moment, but I'm just searching through the shed for a cable tie, and that will replace the lacky bands. Then next job, I have then filled it with gravel, which will come up to the level just higher than the top of the pipe, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So I'll fill that with gravel and then I'll give it a good wash through and clean it out. And then the next step will be this shade cloth will go down on top like that, and then that'll be it. Then the next step, I'll layer it with sand and probably chicken or horse manure or cow manure, maybe some koi, some coconut husk, yeah, and then start filling it with newspaper and scraps. And then lastly, the last step will be to shift the worms out of the old farm, and they'll go in. So I'll show you when I get up to that stage. So this here shows you very well how I've constructed it. I just had to dig it back out again because there was an issue with this leaking on the other side. The sealant, I used some very old sealant, so I'm just testing it, just put some water in here just to test out to make sure it's not leaking on the other side. It was leaking out under here, so yeah, that's been fixed, and I'm just testing that now. So you can see there, I've got the gravel which will be just above that line. Then here's the mesh, then that's flipped back down and it's all piled up here, but that'll be put down in a minute. Okay, so lastly, the old worm farm has now been tipped on top of the new worm farm. You can see there's plenty of worms in here. There's a couple just there. I'll have a dig around and see if I can find, there's carefully some there, and there's plenty of small ones in there as well. So yeah, that's it. That's the worm farm transfer complete. Now to keep putting some more stuff in there, and hopefully they'll breed and I'll have tons of worms. See you later, guys.